Hey, what's up? I'm Firax, and today we are going to be reviewing Playerunknown's Battleground, which is a new pseudo-survival game that has its focus on 100% PvP combat. The early access has been out for over a month now, since it came out on March the 23rd. It has a great potential to change up the concept of the shooter genre because the map is huge, but can get quite small if you make it to the end. The game has the potential to replace well-known titles such as H1Z1 and ARMA Battle Royale. But is it worth it to dish out $30 to try and refresh your PvP gaming library? Stick around to find out. Gameplay and content. Playerunknown's Battleground is an online PvP game that leaves you fighting to the death against many other players that have only one goal: survive to be first. You initially start off on a plane and parachute down to a world of chaos and fun with nothing on you. Once you have landed, the battle is on. You have a set timer to scavenge any buildings for weapons, bags, attachments, and armor before the playable zone gets reduced. And all this while avoiding getting killed by other players. The playable area steadily decreases over time, forcing players to concentrate and converge to one area and fight to the death so that there can only be one person or team standing at the end of the game. This type of game is quite interesting, but is not unique in its style. Many other games already have similar concepts. Playerunknown Battleground is nearly a refinement and improvement of existing titles. It is a very well designed tactical shooter. Map. The map of this game is quite large when you first start off, making you feel like you have many possibilities and places to discover, and find sweet loot. The size of the map also makes it so that you don't feel too cramped with other players initially, depending on where you drop, of course, and therefore can make the first few minutes of the game feel a bit slower paced. But again, if you dropped in a place with everybody, it can be quite a carnage. However, at the time of making this video, there is only one map, which is not necessarily a bad thing because that means that over time, the devs can easily improve and patch it. This can also differentiate veterans of the game from newbies because the veterans will have a better understanding and knowledge of the map. Keep in mind though that the game is still in early development and that new maps might come out in the future. Weapons. There are many weapons for you to find and discover in this game, each with a unique feeling, specific ammo, unique attachments, scopes, as well as specific roles and engagement distances. There's a total of 18 weapons in the game so far, and seeing as the game is still in early alpha stage, we might see the addition of many more weapons in the future. There are 6 different classes of weapons in the game, which are pistols, shotguns, machine guns or PDWs, assault rifles, and snipers, as well as melee weapons. Furthermore, there are several other things for you to find, such as specific quick clips, scopes, and several different types of grenades. However, it should be noted that not all of these weapons are created or spawned equal, because some of these are quite rare and you won't find them very often. But damn, when you do, you're one happy camper, because the rare weapons can really pack a punch. Multiplayer. This game is well designed because of the way you can team up. If you're a solo survival type of person, then don't worry. You can play against other solo dudes and not have to worry about going against 4-player teams, which would be unbalanced. But if you want, you can team up with up to 4 other friends and try to co-op your way to first place. But you will also be put against other teams of 4 players, which balances out the gameplay. Or, if you prefer, you can tag along with randoms if you don't like to play solo and don't have any friends online. Having all of these different possibilities makes the game suitable for most types of playstyles and keeps it fresh for quite a long time. Time to queue. The time to queue is nearly instant and is very satisfying because you don't need to stick around to the end of the game to start a new one. So even if you're a noob and you die within the first few minutes of gameplay, don't worry, you can spawn back in and get wrecked over and over and over again. Though, keep in mind, the hype for this game has still not gone down, and it might be more difficult in the future to find a game once the active player count goes down. Graphics. The game looks pretty good on ultra settings, but it's not going to blow your mind away by any means. However, even with my PC, which is nowhere near a low-end gaming PC, I prefer to drop down the graphics to medium, except for textures, because the game does not run stably on ultra for me. It's not fluid enough and I get some regular drops. I think that most people won't run the game on Ultra in its current state because of the graphical optimization, and the game really doesn't look that good if you sway away from the Ultra settings. But do we need some extremely high graphics to play this game? No, of course not. The immersion and size of map quantity, and quality of content makes up for the graphics. The only thing I really want the devs to improve is the sharpness of certain textures and distant objects, because man can they get fuzzy, which makes it difficult to spot targets out in the distance. Also, having your grass density set at high can give you quite a disadvantage to players with the setting set on low, because you might think that you're hidden behind dense, lush grass, but the opposing player can see right through it and kill you if his grass density is set on low because the grass didn't render for him. This unbalances the game and makes those type of kills feel quite cheap. It would be nice for the devs to fix this issue, either by forcing players to have a minimum amount of grass density or by removing the grass density option altogether. Keep in mind though that the game is still in alpha stage and we might see some tweaks to the graphics and performance on PC in the future. Immersion. As I said, the map is huge and gives you this innate sense that a huge battle is going on. Once you've jumped out of that plane, you know the game is on. You're immediately plunged into a world of a huge battleground. The immersion can best be described with a short story. You just landed. You slowly start gathering resources and gear up, while in the meantime, you see that the player alive count slowly ticks down. You still don't have an assault rifle though, and know that if you want to survive, you'll need to find one. So you decide to run to the building in front of the one you're currently in. The building seems to be full of loot. You start picking up everything you can find. You find a bag, okay, good. Some meds, good, but still no assault rifle. You decide to go to the second floor and see what you can find. You find an M416 with one mag, lock and load, when all of a sudden you hear footsteps on the bottom floor. Then, no noise, pure silence. You wait, and wait, and wait. When suddenly, you hear footsteps slowly crawling up the steps to the second floor. The player appears to be coming up. Is he geared? Does he have a good weapon? You don't know. Your heart starts pounding. You don't want to lose that juicy M416 you just picked up. You don't want to have to start all over again. He peeps his head over the railing and... You downed him. One conflict avoided. You then take a look at the map and realize that you're far away from the safe zone and need to get a move on. You rush downstairs and try to find a vehicle. Flash forward a few minutes. Only 6 players remain, but the playable zone is tiny. You've gathered so much stuff that you don't want to lose over this long journey and want to be first. You start to crawl. You hear gunshots not too far from you. The player count goes down to 5. It's on. You decide to stay silent. You hear footsteps to your left. You see someone. Your heart starts pounding. You take a shot and miss. He shoots back at you and hits you 3 times, but then misses. You hit him 4 times, but he's still not dead. He takes out his secondary weapon and... Game over. You just got headshotted. The player count goes down to 4. Better luck next time. I think this small story sums up how immersive this game can be, especially if you make it to the end where there are only a few players alive. Lag. The game in the current state is still quite laggy and can have some drops in the FPS. Rubber banding is a regular issue and teleporting enemies is also one. This can get very frustrating when you sink an entire magazine of an assault rifle into someone, but they still aren't dead. But the devs are regularly putting out new patches and improving the content, so this might help and get fixed in the future. So, what should you remember from this review? Well, Playerunknown's Battleground is a very fun and immersive game with quite a lot of variety and can be fun for many different types of playstyles. Aggressive, passive, sniper, close quarter combat. It's an adrenaline-producing game, and over the time I've played it, it has not gotten old at all. The amount of content you need to learn to get good with this game is huge, which makes the game's longevity quite good. Knowing which gun attachment is good for which scenario, getting familiar with the map, knowing which vehicle is best, are all things that make this game feel like a new experience every time. And that list goes on. There is even an in-game currency system which allows you to change your character's appearance and buy loot boxes for clothing items and similar aesthetical things, increasing the longevity and reason to play even further. However, there is still a need for improvement with the overall stability of the game, such as frame drops, lag, and graphical optimization. And I wouldn't say no to some more weapons and customizable mods. But we have to keep in mind that the game is still in early access and that more content and patches are surely on their way. I can confidently say that after 1 month, the game is still worth it. It's being followed by the devs, and I will surely keep playing it over and over again, especially to compete for that first place. So I will surely see you on the battlefield. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked this video. It really does help. Leave a comment down below with your opinion and what you would like to see implemented into the game. And don't forget to subscribe for more weekly content. I'll see you guys in the next video.